the liquor store and get a Fro 45. Fro 45 so we can get drunk. We'll be shaking the trunk. Having some fun, baby, having some fun. Dipping in the
Well,
ride.
party people, I'm so glad you're here. I want to introduce you to my new beer. It's not Budweiser or Miller Lite. It's Colt 45 and it tastes just right. Colt 45 wouldn't give me no cheddar, so I flew to St. Louis and I brewed something better. Down with the trash, got a pimped out can. The name on the side is Afro Man. When I was young, I used to drink OE. Now I brew my own beer like a real OG. I'm not just a cop, I'm a resident. I'm not just a client, I'm the president. Go to your favorite liquor store. Request that brand new beer from Fro. So you can get drunk and I can get paid. Rest in peace, Mix Master
You
Spade.
wanna go to the liquor store and get a Fro 45. Fro 45 so we can get drunk. We'll be shaking the trunk. Having some fun, baby, having some fun. Dipping in the ride.
Oh, yeah. It's time to go to the liquor store. That is for real, man. Apparently, B-Dubs can show us the way here real soon, so. The liquor store, it's that way.
That Colt 45.
Yeah, gotta get that Fro 45. Colt 45 wouldn't give him no money, so he had to went to. If you listened, he flew to St. Louis to brew something better. Flew to our town, because we are the king of beer out here. At least that's what. At least what that's what the sign says, man. It's been saying that for like 100 years. You know what's funny about? Speaking of alcohol in St. Louis, Anheuser-Busch was not the first brewery in St. Louis.
Oh, no, it was like the last one in St. Louis.
Yeah, it was. That's what I think's funny. It is, Anheuser-Busch is the biggest. Seriously, I mean, they come in and they drop the hammer, but they are not the first.
No.
I don't know if the Limp Brewery was the first, but they were the Anheuser-Busch back then, Limp beer.
There was another one before Limp, because I was looking it up on the internet one day.
You know,
there was one more before Limp, and then Limp
Limp
bought it.
Yeah, let's look this up.
And then there was two others.
Yeah,
at the same time.
I knew Limp wasn't the first, but Limp was the Budweiser for quite a... Now, when I say Limp was the Budweiser, I mean Limp beer.
Limp was the big beer,
They were the big guys at one point.
They actually were Falstaff.
Were they really?
Yep, if I remember right, they were Falstaff. But I didn't know that until I was looking at something on YouTube about them. Because I'm fascinated with Limp Brewery. And the caves underneath it and all that shit.
Oh, yeah,
that shit just fascinates me.
Oh, yeah, that's a hell of a story. I mean...
Yeah. That shit just fascinates me. I sit and look at that shit on YouTube during the day sometimes and just geek out on it, you know what I mean?
You're right. I'm looking at it here. Falstaff Beer, first beer company of St. Louis. It was a buyers from Crew Brewing Company out of Omaha. Flagstaff was, yeah. No shit.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What's more interesting is something else that they got on here. Fritz Root Beer was actually Fritz Beer Company.
Mm-hmm.
And they're one of the first.
They were one of the original three.
Yep.
And then I think it was Prohibition was when they went to root beer and they went back.
And they never, you're right. They're right. That's what I'm looking at right here. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what's interesting? There was so many alcohol companies in St. Louis because we basically are the Port of Mississippi. I mean, our shit go down to New Orleans, you know?
Yep.
But what's interesting, you know, I don't know why we've never talked about this subject on the radio before, but man, there is some interesting stuff on here.
You get on YouTube, there's all kinds of cool shit on it.
Oh, yeah.
I just seen something one day and went down a rabbit hole. And I was like one whole day looking at shit. I was like, damn.
Here's an interesting one here. This breaks into some history here, which is very, very interesting. But here's a side story. Anheuser-Busch tried to buy Limp.
Uh-huh.
And Limp laughed.
Yep.
And Bush Sr. goes, "What's so funny?" He goes, "Little boy, maybe we're the one who should buy you."
Uh-huh.
And then years later, it's interesting because Anheuser-Busch has put in several offers, but because of Old Man Limp, they are never going to sell. They'll sell to anybody else, but there's something with his will that it would never go to anything that's associated with Budweiser.
Yep.
But here's the history of beer in St. Louis. Okay. Now, Limp, according to this, was the first, okay? But not really, because we know there were some other ones. But this is where they say privateer.
They were the first big brewery.
Yeah, John.
There's other people making it, yeah.
Yeah, John Coons opened the first domesticated private brewery in St. Louis in 1809.
Yep.
And it was Gateway Brewing.
And it was more or less just a bar that made
that's what I'm kind of seeing. You're right, yeah. And then in 1840, Adam Limp created the first large beer producing company in St. Louis. 1840 is where it started.
Yep.
So, yeah, so what, they had about 30-year run before Limp started?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know Limp was back in 1840. My God.
Yep.
Now,
Limp had a hell of a run.
Now, this is interesting. In 1860, there was 40 brewing companies in St. Louis.
Yeah. But there was only 3 big ones. It was kind of like car dealers. You had your big 3 and your off-brands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is interesting because a combination of barrels per month, these 40 breweries, right?
Yep.
I'm just going to let you guess. Out of 40 breweries, how many barrels of beer do you think they brewed in 1 month?
Back then?
1860.
Oh, I should know this because I've probably heard it. 100 maybe? I don't know. That'd probably be a lot.
B-Dubs, what do you think it is?
Higher than Jimmy's, like 200 per barrel.
Your guys aren't even close. 212,000 barrels.
Jesus.
Wow.
Out of 40 companies in 1960 or 1860. That's a lot of fucking alcohol.
Well, I know I've seen the storage places for Limp.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're massive.
They're fucking like 15 stories high rooms.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus. But they were down in the caves, so they were cool.
Yeah, and that's what made the beer so good because they were stored underground.
Yeah. Well, and it was coming out of those streams underground in those caves where they were getting their water. It was almost like a mountain stream cave, you know? Because they were getting that fucking cold water right out of those fucking...
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Under St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand. All over St. Louis is catty corn caves.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, all over St. Louis.
Yep. And what's interesting, okay, so 1840, Limp started. In 1860, there was 40 brewing companies, and a combination of the highest in 1 month on record was 212,000 barrels of beer operating out of St. Louis. Now, what they mean by operating, that means shipped out of St. Louis or shipped out of each one of these.
By all the companies.
Yeah, that's because you guys were like 100 barrels, 200 barrels. I'm like, no, fuck. When I seen this number, I'm like, so they were supplying majority because they were using the Mississippi River to go upstream and downstream.
So they were using barges, yeah.
Yep. And then Bush got involved. Now here's the thing. Appalachia's Bush which is Anheuser-Busch, the Busch family, entered pretty much in 1876, which we've heard that a lot, which introduced Budweiser. Okay? Now, this is where this gets interesting, because where's the Anheuser family get involved here? So
They were part of the original when it first started.
So in
When it
1876.
first started, it was a joint venture. When Limp folded, when he lost his mind, the two other breweries got bought out by 3 different people, and Anheuser and Busch were 2 of them. Is the story I heard. And then the third guy couldn't do it, so he sold out. And it ended up Anheuser-Busch was the 2 companies.
Yep, that's what it's here right here, because it's Carl Conrad. Yeah, Conrad, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Conrad.
And the Busch family still lives in St. Louis.
Oh, yes, they do. They got the Busch Gardens and all that stuff.
Yep.
So what's interesting, now this I did not know. What year, this one's a good one for you guys. What year do you think the first Anheuser-Busch Clydesdale made its first appearance?
Ooh. Probably earlier. I probably used them to take it down to the fucking Riverside. I don't know.
I want to say 1964?
When did it start? When did the brewery start?
The brewery started in 1876.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but the question is, the Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales hitched and made their first public appearance in what year?
Probably like the next year.
No.
That was their first public appearance.
Yeah.
Because they originally were their horses they used like,
Yeah,
like
they used regular horses back then.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why they chose the Clydesdales to make this appearance.
I don't know. I don't think I've heard that yet.
Now, this is a good one. I would have said, my guess would have been the World's Fair. No. World's Fair was not in 1904 in St. Louis.
Right.
It was in 1933. But there was another special reason why they did it.
Well, 1933 was after Prohibition, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
After that, it quit, yeah.
It was when they unveiled the Empire State Building.
Oh, in Chicago?
Yeah, while I'm reading this, so former New York Governor Ally Smith, longtime friend, appointed in front of the Empire State Building to break Prohibition. So their whole thing, they introduced the Empire State Building, and to break Prohibition, that Prohibition was done, they chose to get the biggest horses they could to bring as much beer to the Empire State Building.
That's cool.
And so that was the introduction of the Clydesdales, and it was such a big deal. They've always, so that's the reason why the Clydesdales means we're the biggest in the beer industry.
Yep.
Because, now think about it, Prohibition ended, Anheuser-Busch was still a business, and they were making hand sanitizer and selling water and and whatever they could to stay afloat.
Yep.
And that's the reason why they chose the Clydesdales instead of regular horses. That's a fucking great, I mean, wow. I mean, that's, now here's interesting. We go back to Flagstaff. In 1935, Flagstaff Brewing Company buys the King's Brewery Company of Omaha, Nebraska, which started producing Flagstaff beer worldwide, which was a total hurt to Anheuser-Busch's flagship 2 major cities. So what they did is they bought this other brewing company in Nebraska to say fuck you to Anheuser-Busch, to make themselves the big dog again.
Yep.
In 1951, Anheuser-Busch made a new line of alcohol, first builder brew of a regional outside its hometown. So, in 35, they dealt with these pricks for 51 till 1951, right?
Uh-huh.
Then Anheuser-Busch had to make a regional decision to put other breweries other places. In 53,
Right.
Anheuser-Busch, maker of Budweiser, purchased the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yep.
Okay? And named it Sportsman's Park.
Yep.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, that could have been a good question to ask you guys.
Mhm.
Man, see, this is interesting because Busch and Flagstaff battle back and forth.
Yes.
Yep. Anheuser-Busch in 1964 becomes the first brewer of 10 million barrels in a single year.
Hmm.
Damn. 10 million barrels in a single year. Now, remember, we go back up. In 1 month, the 40 breweries brewed 212,000 barrels.
Right.
Now in 64, 30 years later, they're doing 10 million in a single year.
Yep. Beer's a big thing in the United States.
Well, yeah, it is. It's been
Yeah.
like that since we first come over here.
Yeah. Beer's always been a hot thing in the United States.
Now, this is interesting because I was born in 75. Because a lot of shit happens in the next couple of years. Anheuser-Busch Brewery declares war against Flagstaff and direct sales and stuff, all that. So now, in the 60s and early 70s, they're battling it out.
Yep.
Okay? In
the beer
75, final deadline of Flagstaff begins with headquarters moving to San Francisco and leaving St. Louis.
That was after Limpet had his meltdown.
Yep, in 75. And and the brewery was shut down by 2005. I didn't know that they went to 2005. But in 75, they moved the main part of the brewery to Fort Wayne Brewery Company.
Uh-huh. Well, see, Limp had lost it by then. Because Limp lost it 30s or 40s. And another company had it. When Anheuser, about the same time as Anheuser-Busch come along, Limp had lost his wife and basically went off the deep end.
Yep, because that was in 75. 77, final draw. St. Louis-based Flagstaff Brewery closes.
Yeah.
So in 77, it's closed. Now, aren't they still making beer over there, or?
No. The whole Limp part's all closed. But there was two parts Limp had bought another company out. And they were making the Flagstaff over there. But Limp had already lost his place. And I think it was family members were running that. If I remember right. It's been a while since I watched that video.
Oh, here's something very interesting here. Okay, so that was the final straw. Limp Brewery closes. And then it goes from 77 to 86. Anheuser-Busch breaks 1 billion barrels a year mark. In a billion barrels they made in 1 year.
Yep. Well, they were the biggest brewery
Now,
for years.
now that makes sense, because when we were kids, okay, in the 80s, I mean, Anheuser-Busch was advertising on everything. I mean, so for them to do 1 billion barrels a year, that's a lot of fucking beer. But I think that's...
they were the number one beer, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they were on everything. But what's interesting is now, here comes... Where did I see this? Okay, they did 1 billion barrels in a single year. In 95, well, hold on. Okay. In December of 91, something major happened. The tap room at Locust Street had its first new brewery open up since Prohibition.
Ah.
Okay? In 95, this is fucking interesting. Wow, I'm glad I'm reading this. Morgan Street Brewing Company opens up on Laclede's Landing. That's what made Laclede's Landing such a big deal again.
Yep.
Because of Morgan Street. And they were the first people to open a brewing company in St. Louis since Prohibition. Now,
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, people. There were still brewing companies that did come back.
Oh, yeah.
But it took them that long since Prohibition to bring a new company to St. Louis?
Yep. There was a big three in St. Louis for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to research.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big history in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. St. Louis is major history. I mean, you know, I'll give you an example. The Hill. How much Italian food was come up from the Hill? Toasted Ravs. That's not from Italy. That's from St. Louis.
Yep.
Yep.
The Hill is so historic.
The Hill is so yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, people, I mean, as I'm scrolling through this, I mean, there is a lot. There's so, man, we could fucking talk all day. St. Charles Trailhead Brewing Company opens up in 2020. Yeah, Trailhead, that's over there right across the river
That was
from
when
us.
all the microbreweries were starting to pop up.
Yeah, there's a whole big thing about the microbrewery thing in here.
Yep.
In 24, Four Hands Brewing Company in Kirkwood started on 4th Street. O'Fallon Brewing, it's right over by us.
Yep.
Yep, in 24. Wow. Yeah, because O'Fallon Brewing is right across the street from us.
Yep.
Wow. In 25, Great Heart Brewing Company opens up in Overland, Missouri. There is a fuck ton of breweries since 2020 open up in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember in 2020, Trailhead started a brewing company, and they were freaking out on the news because COVID hit.
Right.
And were they going
But
to...
it actually helped all them because everybody was sitting home drinking.
Yep, it sure did. It sure did. See, here's another one. Mulberry Tap Room, largest, blah, 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 opens up in Belleville.
Huh.
Which is, Belleville, Illinois is across the river, but yeah, I mean, it's still kind of a St. Louis deal. Yeah, Mississippi Culture, Blue Ray Brewing, along with Bush Family and Distillery, opens up the winery to the third largest winery in America. Is owned by the Bush family. It's not Anheuser-Busch. It's with J. Brewing Bush family. And that was in 23. They're taking over the wine industry. Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, what great history, you know, just reading all this. So, yeah, on that note, guys, man, we got to get back to the music. We got to pay some bills around here. You're listening to 96.1 Styling as we're dragging through the afternoon and getting drunk and talking about beer on a Fuck Off Friday. We'll be right back after this.